President Donald Trump stated on the that reciprocal tariffs on countries that have not yet agreed to trade negotiations will be set at a meeting with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer at the Turnberry Golf Resort in Scotland. President Trump responded to a reporter's question about tariffs on countries without agreements, saying, "It will be between and added, it will be one of those two numbers." This suggests that the US will impose a flat tariff rate on countries that do not have a separate trade agreement with the US. Previously, on the Trump stated that regarding tariffs on the remaining countries, once the letter is sent, that letter is the deal, and added, "We'll be sending about letters." President Trump first announced the reciprocal tariffs on April and has twice postponed their effective date to August. The US has already concluded negotiations with the UK, Vietnam, Indonesia, Japan, and the European Union (EU), while South Korea is currently negotiating with the goal of reaching an agreement before August. For South Korea, a realistic first goal is expected to be reducing the reciprocal and automobile tariffs to the level agreed upon with Japan and the EU. On the same day, President Trump also expressed hopes that China would open its market to the world, referring to the third round of high-level US-China trade negotiations being held in Stockholm, Sweden, led by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Trump said, "We have a good relationship with China, but China is tough," he continued. "We are all tough still. We'll see what happens," and added that just as Japan opened its market after reaching a trade agreement with the US, "I want to see China open up as well." Japan had previously greatly expanded its market for American rice after finalizing a trade deal with the US. The current US-China talks involve Treasury Secretary Bessent and USTR Representative Jameson Greer on the US side, while Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng represents the Chinese delegation. At the first round of negotiations held in Geneva, Switzerland in May, the two countries agreed to sharply lower tariffs by percentage points for days. This measure is set to expire on August. Following tensions over rare earth exports after the Geneva Agreement, the two countries held a second round of talks in London last month. At that time, they agreed on a framework to implement the Geneva deal, and China agreed to resume its rare earth exports. On the same day, when asked about pharmaceutical tariffs, President Trump responded, "We'll make an announcement related to pharmaceuticals in the very near future." Trump said, "We have very big plans for the pharmaceutical industry," and added, "We want to bring the pharmaceutical industry back to the US." He emphasized, "COVID taught us a lesson. We were importing medicines from other countries. Now, like in the past, we want to produce most of them ourselves." Trump has already imposed tariffs on cars, steel, and aluminum, and is expected to announce additional tariffs on items such as pharmaceuticals and semiconductors.